Why so serious?
Nobody's gonna send a parade.
That face.
Nobody's gonna hand you a
Why
trophy.
so serious?
And
Let's
yet,
put a smile on that
here you
face.
are, breathing, watching, thinking maybe today is different. Maybe today is the day the world finally notices.
Why so serious?
Listen closely, because what I'm about to say might sting. What you did, it already made a Hollywood call. They haven't picked up the phone yet. But if they did, they'd be calling to study you, to wonder how a single human could turn chaos into a masterpiece. You see, life doesn't hand out scripts. It doesn't give you lines. It doesn't tell you when to shine and when to stumble. And yet, every move you've made, every risky step, every silent sacrifice, every choice that screamed, "I dare you," it's all been building a story that even the brightest lights of Hollywood would envy. Can you hear that? The applause of ghosts in empty theaters, the whispers of critics in dark corners, they're already talking about you. But you're still doubting. You're still hiding behind screens, behind excuses, behind the same tired routine. Think about it. Every scar, every late night decision, every battle you swore you'd never survive, look at them now. They're not just mistakes. They're brushstrokes, sharp, bold, painful, and they make your canvas bleed life. And isn't that terrifying? The idea that what you've done, everything that made people roll their eyes, shake their heads, laugh behind your back, it's exactly what sets you apart. That tension, that fire, that chaos. It's pure cinematic gold. And no one, not a single soul, can rewrite it. And here's the thing, most people look at their own lives and see clutter, failure, shame. They see dead ends. But you've been living like a plot twist. They won't notice until the credits roll, until the moment when they finally understand that every step you took, every risk, every sleepless night, every rejection, it wasn't random. It was deliberate, it was calculated, and it was brilliant. No. They think brilliance only comes from the polished, the rehearsed, the safe, but they're wrong. You've been making art in real time and the canvas is enormous. Look closer. The world, in all its bright lights and shallow smiles, thinks it can label you, confine you, judge you. But your life isn't a mold to fit. It's a screenplay that defies formulas. And the tension, the tension, that's what makes it magnetic. That's what draws eyes even when they refuse to look. And somewhere in the shadows of those skyscrapers, behind the cameras that haven't even rolled yet, someone is taking notes. They're trying to figure out how you did it, how you turned your chaos into spectacle, how you took fear, doubt, and frustration and made them dance on the edge of a masterpiece. So sit up, lean forward. Stop waiting for permission. Stop begging for acknowledgement. You've already earned it. Hollywood may call. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But your story, your life, that's the blockbuster no one saw coming. And the most beautiful part, the part that makes it so dangerously captivating, is that it's entirely yours. Every line, every shadow, every unexpected twist. And the critics, they'll hate it, they'll rage, they'll write it off as chaos. But chaos, real chaos, is what makes legends. You feel it, don't you? That itch under your skin, that fire in your chest, that little voice screaming, "Do it." Don't ignore it. That voice is the sound of your life calling the shots. It's telling you that waiting, doubting, hesitating, that's over. Every second you waste wondering if it's possible is a second someone else uses to copy your ideas, steal your moves, and pretend they were first. But not you. No. You're not here to imitate. You're here to dominate, to shock, to make the world lean in and ask, how did they do that? Think about the power you hold. Every decision you've made that felt insane, reckless, too bold. That's your edge. That's your signature. They'll call it luck. They'll call it coincidence. But you know better. You've been sculpting your life like a director, with no budget, no crew, no script, just instinct, rage, and vision. Nah, it's terrifying, isn't it? Knowing that every move could either make you a legend or leave you forgotten. That's the thrill. That's the magic. That's the reason Hollywood would pay to see your story unfold. Now let's get one thing straight. Fear isn't your enemy. Failure isn't your enemy. They're the critics sitting in the front row sipping champagne, waiting for you to stumble. But here's the secret. You already know how to use them. Turn their doubt into energy. Let every no you've heard fuel the fire that's been burning quietly in the background. That tension, that unease, that constant question of what's next. That's not weakness. That's the raw material of a masterpiece. They can't write it for you. They can't predict your next move. Only you can. Do you feel the weight of it? The responsibility? The kind of responsibility that makes your stomach tighten and your heart race? That's because greatness isn't given, it's claimed. Snatched from the jaws of mediocrity. Every late night, every rejection, every time you got back up when the world whispered, quit. That was you building the scaffolding for something they can't ignore. Something they'll call. Something that will haunt their imagination long after the cameras stop rolling. And here's where most people fail. They wait for clarity. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for applause. But you're past that. You don't wait. You act. You strike. You take the chaos and mold it. You take the doubts and make them tremble. You take your story, messy, raw, imperfect, and turn it into cinema. The kind of cinema that doesn't ask for permission, that doesn't follow formulas, that shakes foundations, that makes people lean forward. Not because it's easy to watch, but because they can't look away. So what's next? What's the move that will make them pick up the phone? What's the act that will ensure your name gets whispered in offices, studios, and dark rooms across the city? The answer is simple. Live like your life is already a masterpiece. Treat every choice as if the camera is rolling. Every risk, every gamble, every small victory, it all counts. Every shadow you've walked through, every insult you've survived, every fear you've faced, it's all part of the script. And the best part? You're the only one who can write the ending. Remember this, Hollywood isn't calling because they like you. They're calling because you terrified them with your audacity. They're calling because you dared to take everything ordinary and turn it into spectacle. And that is yours. All yours. So rise. Step into the frame. Own your chaos. Own your story. Own the masterpiece you've been building. One jagged, beautiful, unforgettable stroke at a time. Now it's time. The moment you've been avoiding. The moment you've whispered about in the dark. The moment that will decide whether your story is a flickering shadow or a blazing legend. Can you feel it? That weight? That anticipation? That electric current running through your veins? That's the signal. That's the camera focusing. That's your life stepping into the spotlight. And it's terrifying. And it should be, because masterpieces aren't born from comfort. They're born from chaos, from risk, from the audacity to stare at the impossible and laugh in its face. Look around you. Look at the world that pretends to understand. The critics, the doubters, the ones who shake their heads while you bleed effort and sweat onto invisible pages. They don't know. They can't know. They can't see the blueprint hidden in your scars, the precision in your madness, the genius buried beneath every sleepless night, every move you've made, every door slammed in your face, every you can't. It wasn't an obstacle, it was a rehearsal. Every tragedy was a scene, every rejection a plot twist. And now the climax is here. You've been waiting for permission. Stop. No one is going to hand it to you. You don't need permission. You need courage. You need vision. You need that sharp edge in your chest that tells you, I will not be ignored. I will not be erased. Nah, fear will try to stop you. Anxiety will try to chain you. But you're not playing by their rules. You're improvising, rewriting, destroying the script that wasn't meant for you and building one that screams your name. Hollywood may call. Maybe today. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe never. But your life is already on the marquee. And the critics, they'll have to watch. Do you see it? The masterpiece you've become? The tension, the chaos, the relentless energy? That's art. That's cinema. That's a story no one can replicate. Every heartbeat, every bruise, every whisper of doubt, it's fuel. And here's the truth. The camera isn't on you yet. The phone hasn't rung, but the world is waiting, hungry for the explosion only you can deliver. You've built suspense your whole life, and now it's time for the payoff. Time to step forward and show the audience the brilliance they refused to see until now. So rise, step into the frame, own your chaos, own your scars, own the tension that made you tremble and the fire that made you fight. Hollywood may call, or maybe they won't, but one thing is certain. No one, nothing, can stop the masterpiece that is already in motion. And when the lights flicker, when the cameras roll, when the world finally leans in, they'll see it. They'll see you, and they'll realize they've been watching greatness all along. Yes, that's it. That's the moment. You've lived it, bled it, built it. Your story isn't waiting for applause. It's demanding it. And if you're brave enough, if you're reckless enough, if you're alive enough, the world will answer. Because what you did, what you've always done, has already made history. Look at yourself. Really look. See the fire in your eyes, the tension in your hands, the heartbeat that refuses to settle. That's not anxiety. That's potential. Raw, unfiltered, explosive. You've been building this moment your entire life. Every scar, every mistake, every second you thought was wasted, it was prep, it was rehearsal. And now the stage is yours. Every move you make from here on out, every choice you dare to act on, every risk you finally take, it will echo. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, don't wait for the call. Don't wait for the lights. Don't wait for the audience. You are the show. You are the camera. You are the spectacle. No one will give you credit. No one will hand you the trophy. That's the trap. You take it, you grab it, you step into the frame and force the world to notice. Feel it. That electricity running through your veins, that's the edge of your own story. And if you lean into it, just for 1 second, the mundane, the critics, the world, they disappear. Only you remain. Only you creating, daring, shocking. This is your cue. Step forward. Take the chaos you've survived and turn it into action. Take the nights you've cried, the moments you've stumbled, the fear that tried to suffocate you, and mold it. Every doubt is a prop. Every failure a set piece. Every scar a signature. And when you move, when you act, when you refuse to hide, Hollywood isn't the prize. The prize is this: proving to yourself that you are a masterpiece in motion. That your life, right now, as messy, dark, and unpredictable as it is already cinema. And don't forget this: legends aren't remembered for playing safe. They're remembered for breaking rules, for embracing chaos, for daring the world to catch up. The phone may never ring, the spotlight may never find you, but it doesn't matter. You've already made your mark. You've already shocked the world with the story you refuse to hide. And now, it's time to finish the scene, to write the next act, to take the masterpiece you've created and live it louder, sharper, darker than ever before. So rise, lean forward, step into the frame, own your scars, own your chaos, own the masterpiece that is you. Hollywood may call, they may not. It doesn't matter, because you've already done what they can't. You've lived it. You've bled it. You've conquered it. And now the world is yours to watch, to marvel, to envy. Every move, every breath, every heartbeat is a scene in the blockbuster called your life. Yes, that's it. That's the power. That's the truth. And if you take it, if you claim it, if you dare, no one will ever forget you. Now, listen carefully. This is the last frame, the fade to black before the credits roll. Can you feel it? That tension in your chest, the fire in your veins? That's not fear, that's clarity, that's knowing. You've lived through chaos. You've stared at the abyss of doubt. And yet, you're here. You're still standing, still breathing, still building, still shocking. And now, it's time to claim it. Time to step into the unknown and make it yours. Every moment that came before this, every struggle, every dark night, every moment you thought it was over, it wasn't wasted. It was a rehearsal. It was set design. It was the groundwork for the spectacle that is your life. No. Don't diminish it. Don't let the world tell you what it means. They can't. Only you can. Only you understand the art in your chaos, the genius in your scars, the brilliance in your unpredictability. And now is when you show it. Step forward. Step into the light. Step into the story that refuses to be forgotten. I feel it. That electric charge in your hands, that's your story demanding attention. That's the edge where the critics stumble and the doubters falter. That's the line you cross to transform fear into fire, doubt into drive, hesitation into spectacle. The masterpiece is finished, but it's alive. It moves, it breathes, It challenges. And the world will either watch or fall behind. Remember this. Hollywood may call, or it may not. It doesn't matter. Because what you did, what you created, what you lived, is beyond them. Beyond labels, beyond applause, beyond approval. Ah, yes, that's it. That's the truth. You are not waiting for recognition. You are not chasing permission. You are the storm, the spectacle, the masterpiece. And every moment from here on out is your canvas. Every choice is your brush. Every breath is your scene. So go. Live like the world is watching. Fight like they're afraid of what you'll do next. Laugh at the chaos. Bend it, break it, shape it into art only you can imagine. Step into the frame, claim the title, own the masterpiece, because your life isn't a rehearsal. It's the show, it's the story, and the ending is yours. Ah, yes, perfect. Hey bro, can you feel it? 8 billion eyes watching. Silence cuts deep, huh? They fed the world poison, smiling, clapping, acting untouchable, right? Oh nah, not anymore. You walked in like a storm. No cape, no applause, just fire? Millions trapped in their lies, millions chained, millions fooled. Can you imagine? Wow, but you flipped it. You shut that BS down, didn't you? The industry shook, their walls cracked, their empire bleeding from the inside, huh? And the best part? Everyone saw it. Everyone. They built their empire on sand, and then screamed in shock when the tide came rushing in. You see, lies don't collapse all at once. They rot from the inside first, slowly, quietly, hidden behind polished smiles and scripted slogans. And yet, millions were swallowing it, blindly, day after day, as if poison could somehow taste like medicine if you dressed it up enough. But I saw it for what it was, the poison dripping through every corner, reaching not just the weak, but even those inside the industry itself. The so-called experts, the loud voices, the self-proclaimed untouchables. And that's when something inside me snapped. Not because I wanted to play the hero. No, I don't wear capes. I don't smile for applause. I did it because silence was a crime. Because letting them keep feeding their nonsense into the veins of the people was betrayal. Because truth, even when it's dangerous, is sharper than any weapon they own. They thought they could drown me out with numbers, with status, with carefully crafted illusions of authority. But authority without truth is nothing more than a cardboard crown, and cardboard burns fast. Oh, they thought I'd play along. They thought I'd stay in line. They thought I'd nod, clap, and bow to their greatness. Instead, I flipped the script. I cracked the mirror they were hiding behind. And once cracks appear, the whole reflection shatters. You should have seen their faces, the shock, the panic, the fury. They had been untouchable for years, never questioned, never challenged, never cornered. But when I shut down their game, their empire of deception, they realized the stage they had built was sinking beneath them. Wow, they weren't ready for that. Because when you silence a lie, it doesn't just die. It screams, it thrashes, it claws at the air, desperate to survive. And in that chaos, everyone watching finally sees the truth. The curtain rips, the mask falls, and what's left is ugly, rotten, unforgivable. I didn't need an army. I didn't need applause. All it took was one sharp strike of truth, aimed directly where it hurt most. That's the thing about battles like this. It's not about volume, it's about precision. And precision destroys. They asked, why risk it? Why step into fire when you could just walk away? My answer? Because fire doesn't scare me. Lies do. And if no one stands up, the flames spread until everything pure is ash. Yeah, I wasn't about to let that happen. You think courage is about standing tall when everyone claps for you. No. Real courage is standing when everyone hates you for it. Real courage is knowing the backlash is coming and still taking the swing. Real courage is choosing to burn down the poison, even if you get scarred in the process. And scars, my friend, are proof that you didn't just survive, you fought back. And fight back. I did. Every word I spoke cut deeper than they expected. Every truth exposed left them scrambling for air. Their empire wasn't attacked from outside forces, it was undone from within, exposed under its own weight. Nah, it wasn't me that destroyed them. It was their own lies collapsing when the truth was finally spoken. I was just the spark. And here's the beautiful part. Millions watched it happen. Millions saw them tremble. Millions felt the shift. In that moment, they realized the giants they feared were nothing but shadows stretched on a wall. Shadows only look big until the light hits them. Shadows don't fight fair. They don't come to debate. They come to devour. And that's exactly what happened. The moment the mask fell, the moment truth pierced their fortress, the shadows struck back. Not with logic, not with honesty. No, they struck with smear, with venom, with claws sharpened on whispers and manipulation. They wanted revenge, not recovery. They wanted to bury me beneath their noise, so the world would forget what I had exposed. Oh, they thought they could choke me with their numbers, drown me under waves of slander, twist my words, paint me as the villain, rewrite the story. That's how the shadows work. They can't stand the light, so they try to turn the light into darkness itself. But here's the twist. They didn't see coming. The harder they struck, the more obvious their weakness became. Because shadows only have one weapon, fear. Fear of being outnumbered. Fear of being cast out. Fear of being broken in the process. And I had already killed that fear inside me. Once you lose fear, their claws turn to dust. They tried to shame me. They tried to laugh at me. They tried to drown me with accusations. Wow, the desperation dripped from their voices. Do you know why? Because the one thing they can't fight is truth that has already been seen. Once millions catch a glimpse of the reality behind the curtain, no smear campaign can erase it. You can't unsee what's been exposed. You can't erase what's been carved into the minds of the people. So I stood there, while they screamed and scratched and spat fire. And instead of falling apart, I let them unravel themselves. Because the more they fought, the clearer it became. They weren't defending truth, they were defending power. And power built on deception always cracks under pressure. Always. Nah. I didn't answer their noise with more noise. That would have been their game. Instead, I answered with silence, with composure, with the steady weight of someone who knows they already won the moment the truth was revealed. Because silence in the face of lies is louder than screaming. Silence forces everyone to look, to compare, to wonder. Why is he calm, and why are they panicking? That's when I realized shutting down the poison wasn't the end of the war. It was the beginning. Because shadows don't surrender. They multiply. They regroup. They wait for you to blink, to stumble, to get tired. And then they lunge again. But here's the lesson. Strength isn't proven by the first strike. Strength is proven in endurance. Can you hold your ground when the storm rages? Can you keep walking when they drag your name through mud? Can you still stand tall when every voice screams for your silence? Yeah, that's the battlefield most never survive. And that battlefield? I walked right through it. Not unscarred, but unbroken. Because scars are proof of battle, not defeat. They wanted me to collapse under the weight of their rage. Instead, their rage became my evidence. Their chaos became my witness. The more they screamed, the more people saw the difference between someone grounded in truth and a mob grounded in lies. So I didn't just survive their strike. I turned it back on them. Every shadow that lunged at me only ended up exposing its own emptiness. Every attack they threw only reminded the world why they were terrified in the first place. The truth had already won, and the truth doesn't retreat. The loudest silence you'll ever hear is when a crowd finally wakes up from its trance. At first, the people hesitated. They looked around, confused, unsure whether to believe their own eyes. Years of deception had trained them to bow, to obey, to clap on command. But the moment truth slipped through the cracks, something changed. Doubt, suspicion, a spark inside the masses. That spark spread faster than the shadows expected. And once people start asking questions, once they start connecting dots, the empire begins to bleed from the inside. Oh, the shadows panicked. They scrambled to patch the holes, to spin new lies, to silence the ones who were no longer swallowing the poison. But poison only works if the victim keeps drinking. And millions had already tasted something different. Reality. The betrayal hit them hard. Imagine following a voice for years, only to realize it was leading you into quicksand. That's how the people felt. And betrayal, once exposed, breeds rage. That rage doesn't just vanish. It turns, it flips, it redirects itself at the deceivers. Wow, the industry felt it, the ground shook beneath their feet. The very followers they once commanded now questioned every move, every word, every promise. Their strength wasn't built on loyalty, it was built on illusion. And illusion dies the second eyes are opened. You should have seen it. The fear wasn't just on their faces, it was in their silence. Their endless noise, their arrogance, their dominance, suddenly muted. Because when people stop believing, even the loudest tyrant sounds like static. And static doesn't move hearts. Static doesn't inspire loyalty. Static is just noise, and noise always fades. The beauty of truth is that it doesn't need a defense. It stands, and once it stands, lies start to collapse under their own weight. Nah, they couldn't hold it anymore. Their narrative broke apart piece by piece, while the people they had fooled turned into their sharpest critics. The ones who used to clap the loudest were now whispering doubts, sharing stories, exposing cracks. That's the nightmare of every deceiver, betrayal from within. Do you know what happens when people turn? The balance of power shifts instantly. It doesn't matter how many resources, how many followers, how many platforms they control. Once the faith of the people is gone, everything else is a sandcastle facing the tide. And tides don't ask permission. They crash, they take, they erase. And I stood there, watching it unfold. Not with joy, not with smugness, but with focus. Because this wasn't about me. It was never about me. It was about showing millions that they had the strength to walk away, that they didn't have to keep drinking poison because it came in a golden cup, that the power of choice was theirs, and theirs alone. Yeah, that was the real victory. Not that I had spoken, but that they had listened. Not that I had struck, but that they had awakened. Because awakening is the enemy of corruption. And once people awaken, they can't be put back to sleep. The industry knew it. The leaders felt it. Their carefully built towers of manipulation were trembling, and the crowd they once controlled had become their reckoning. That's the irony. The same voices they exploited became the voices that tore them down. A crowd that turns is dangerous. A crowd that rises is unstoppable. That's when the storm truly began. Not a storm of weather, but of will. The very people who had once been chained by illusion now pulled at those chains until they snapped. And once chains snap, there's no putting them back together. The shadows could silence one voice, maybe two, but when millions rise, the silence becomes deafening for the deceivers, and the noise becomes unbearable for their empire. Oh, they tried to calm the masses with sweet words, apologies, promises of change, but people who have tasted betrayal don't fall for sugar anymore. The sweetness tastes bitter when you know it's laced with poison. The uprising wasn't violent. It was sharper than violence. It was rejection, people walking away, people refusing to play along, people choosing clarity over comfort. And rejection cuts deeper than any blade because it shows that you no longer have control. Wow! You could see the cracks spreading faster than ever. The once powerful leaders looked smaller. Their words trembled. Their strategies collapsed. The empire wasn't being attacked from outside forces. It was disintegrating from within, as the very lifeblood of their control evaporated, belief. You see, rising isn't just about anger. Rising is about clarity. It's about finally realizing you don't need to bow to false strength, that you don't need to clap for lies disguised as wisdom, that you don't need to obey voices that never cared for you. Once that realization hits, power changes hands instantly. And when power changes hands, nothing stays the same. The shadows thought they could crush it. They thought they could distract, confuse, divide the people again. But division doesn't work when the truth is clear. Once the fog lifts, no amount of smoke can blind the eyes that have already seen. And here's the beauty. This wasn't just a rebellion against corruption. It was a rebirth of strength within each person. Because rising is not only about rejecting what is false, it's about embracing what is real. It's about building sharper minds, stronger spines, cleaner visions. And when millions decide to sharpen themselves instead of feeding the machine collapses under its own emptiness. I didn't lead them. I didn't have to. Truth leads itself. All I did was strike the match, and the fire spread in their hearts. And once hearts catch fire, no shadow can stand against it. Yeah. The industry trembled, not because I destroyed them, but because the people they once controlled had outgrown them. The voices they thought would be loyal forever had become storms that tore their castles down. That's what rising means. It means becoming bigger than the fear they once used to cage you. And in that moment, I realized something sharper than any weapon. The greatest victory isn't toppling the corrupt. It's watching the people they fooled outgrow them. Growth is the ultimate rebellion. Awakening is the ultimate strike. Because once you've grown beyond deception, you can never shrink back into chains. The shadows saw it. They felt it. Their empire wasn't just falling, it was crumbling into dust beneath the weight of people who no longer believed. That's why their screams grew louder. That's why their panic became unbearable. They weren't just losing control, they were losing their grip on reality itself. The most dangerous force in the world is not anger. It's momentum. When the people rose, it wasn't a moment. It became a movement. And when a movement refuses to stop, it transforms into something larger than fear, larger than deception, larger than any shadow that tries to cage it. Momentum is ruthless. Once it builds, nothing can hold it back. Oh, the deceivers tried everything. New faces, new words, new masks. They thought they could rebrand their lies, paint over the cracks, pretend the collapse wasn't real. But momentum doesn't care about disguises. It doesn't care about tricks. It rolls forward, crushing anything that stands in its way. You could see it everywhere. People who once whispered began to speak loudly. People who once trembled began to stand firm. People who once doubted themselves began to move with clarity. And clarity spreads faster than confusion. Because once you know where you stand, you can't be moved. Wow, that shift shook them more than anything else. It wasn't just resistance anymore, it was resilience. The people weren't only pushing back, they were building sharper systems, stronger minds, cleaner paths. And that terrified the ones who fed on weakness. Because shadows can only survive when people stay small. And suddenly millions had chosen to grow. Momentum is a weapon they cannot match. Why? Because it doesn't depend on one voice, or one leader, or one strike. It depends on countless people refusing to shrink again. And when that refusal becomes collective, it becomes unstoppable. Nah. The deceivers never expected this ending. They thought silencing me would end it. They thought attacking me would contain it. They thought crushing me would erase it. But they misunderstood the truth. I was never the story. The people were. And once they rose, there was no going back. That's the irony, isn't it? The shadows fought with noise, with slander, with endless attacks. But in the end, they destroyed themselves. Their empire collapsed, not because I fought harder, but because the people they fooled refused to carry their weight anymore. And when millions step away, even giants fall. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Victory isn't about standing on ruins and claiming the crown. Victory is about leaving behind something unshakable. Not an empire of lies, but a foundation of clarity. Not a stage for deception, but a path for strength. That's the legacy of momentum. Once it starts, it doesn't die with one man or one voice. It lives on in everyone who chooses to stand. And that's why they feared it more than anything else. Not the truth itself, not the strike that shattered their mirror, but the aftermath, the millions who refused to shrink, refused to forget, refused to stop rising. Because a people that rise and keep rising are untouchable. Oh, they'll try again. Shadows always do. They'll whisper. They'll crawl. They'll wait for fatigue, for weakness, for distraction. But momentum has a memory. Once you've risen, you know the path, and no shadow can erase that memory. So let them plot, let them whisper, let them try. It won't matter, because the people have already proven that they can rise, and that they will keep rising. And now, look around. The silence is heavy, isn't it? The shadows that once screamed your downfall. Quiet now, huh? Oh, they plotted, they clawed, they crawled. But nah, they couldn't stop you. You didn't just survive. You exposed, you destroyed, you rebuilt. Wow. Millions freed, millions awake, millions watching the empire burn to dust. And the so-called untouchables, trembling, shaking, begging the crowd to forget, to forgive, too late. You walked through fire, scarred but sharper, and now you stand unstoppable? So here's the punchline. Listen close. They thought you were the target, but you were the ending.